Civil society organizations from South Sudan under the Tumaini Peace Initiative have raised concerns over the country's deteriorating political and security situation. Represented by youths, religious leaders, women, refugees, and key actors in the music industry, they are calling upon stakeholders in different countries to convene and discuss ways to achieve peace in South Sudan.
You hear in our statement, we mentioned that some of our colleagues, they are already in. The space, the civic space in the country is quite shrunk. Maybe you have heard of a security bill that actually was all over social media, whereby you can be arrested without what is it called? Arrest warrant.
Is to bring them together, and that's why in our statement read to you this morning, we are urging the IGAD head of states to come and hold a meeting in Juba. Perhaps then they will meet. So that is what we are hoping.
Some of the concerns that we are as stakeholders come to try to address and try to to secure that we have the space that we needed, so that each and every citizen has the right to play their role as a citizen. South Sudan belongs to all of us.
Despite being the youngest country, South Sudan has a long history of conflict and peace. After gaining independence in July 2011, following over 20 years of civil war, the country has struggled with widespread violence, marginalization of different groups, ethnic rivalries, and poor governance.
Leadership failure, leadership crisis. So I will take this opportunity to urge the leaders of South Sudan to lead, to take leadership. And one of the roles as a leader is to ensure safety of your population.
And women become number one. Who is not educated, who majority, I would tell you today, maybe just out of head, this is not facts-based, but by assumption. If I assume, I would tell you maybe a South Sudanese woman who is a head of the family can go up to 70% that they are the one, even when they are not widows, even when they have their husband alive, they are still the head of the family.
This question not only come to you and be like hopeless, no. And that's why I'm on this table. I'm on this table to actually represent the voices of those who are actually displaced, the refugees that are actually calling the leaders and saying, you know what, we want to come home.
These factors continue to drive conflict, misinformation about ethnically motivated attacks, and counterattacks reinforce distrust. Recent violent clashes in Nasir, resulting in the killing of innocent civilians, an SSPDF general and others have sparked worries. This has led to stakeholders to demand peace talks in the country.
We therefore call for the following. 1. Immediate de-escalation for all warring parties to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. 2. The parties to reaffirm their commitment to the peace process by fostering collegiality and decision-making.
So I think sometimes we have misplaced our attention to the top leaders. Just as the young man said, they use the young people to fight. They don't fight themselves. So our focus now should really be on the grassroots, bottom-up approach rather than top-down.
Calling for a long time that in order to achieve inclusive peace in the country and to collectively move towards democratic transition, it is important to include all political and armed voices in this process.
However, the deployment of the UPDF military by Chief of Defense Forces General Mohos Kainerugaba has raised concerns, with the team emphasizing the need for peaceful dialogues.
The government spokesperson in South Sudan denied presence of UPDF. So for us, we can't answer that. But what we can stand with is our stand on peace being the priority right now, and our belief in the regional leaders to be able to act in ensuring, as guarantors of the peace agreement in ensuring that peace holds?
I think as part of also building our own capacity in terms of resolving our conflicts, we cannot always be referring our issues to our neighbors or even to the international community to come and help us. It is important that our political leaders, it's important that South Sudanese take ownership of initiatives that seek to address disputes among themselves. And it is on this regard that I emphasize and appeal to our leaders, especially His Excellency the President and the First Vice President and the rest of the members of the presidency to engage in dialogue among themselves.
That was right, but then peace is the key here. That is why we have peace that was signed, because they realize, the warring parties realize that we are not going to achieve anything through violence. And it has been proven even during our 21 years of war. We never succeeded with guns. While we recall the President's commitment and promise of the not taking the country back to war, we are concerned that the current political and security situation in South Sudan puts the country on the brink of war.
Naguja Serena, NSTV.